Away cleanly now. On a bit of time. Hamilton, Rowett, Hancock, Lee, Gout, Atkinson, Cully, Brady, Peacock. Watch the clock, ladies and gentlemen. He's hit the front, he's hit the straight. There you go. 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Gout's the champion.
This 17-year-old kid is already turning heads and breaking records. At such a young age, he's not only dominating the track, but also drawing comparisons to legends like Usain Bolt. With his lightning-fast times and lucrative sponsorship deals, it's clear he's a rising star in the world of athletics. But behind those impressive runs lies a different side of his journey, a side that many don't see. Gout's story isn't just about speed. It's about the roadblocks he faces off the track, the challenges that go far beyond the finish line. This is the story of a teen who runs like lightning, but also runs into struggles no one expected. In a low-key school meet in Queensland, Gout hit the track and stopped the clock at a jaw-dropping 9.94 seconds in the 100 meters. Now, it's important to note, this time was hand-timed, so it won't be officially recognized. But still, it's clear this teen is in form.
Gout has done the unthinkable, breaking the 10-second barrier in the 100 metres twice in one night.
Gout's manager, James Stapleton, spoke about how this race was more of a warm-up, a stepping stone toward his first senior world championships in Tokyo this September. As Stapleton said, it's a low-key event, the GPS school meet, but it's good to get a run in. It shows the form he's in for Tokyo in just a few weeks. While this may have been just another warm-up for Gout, to us, it's another reminder of how unstoppable he's become. Now, let's talk about his true specialty, the 200 meters. Over this distance, Gout has already made history, and not just in Australia. In December of last year, he broke the 56-year-old Oceanian 200-meter record previously held by Peter Norman, a monumental moment in Australian athletics history. But that wasn't all. In June, Gout ran a personal best of 20.02 seconds in Ostrava, crushing the competition on his European debut. Despite his exceptional performances, Gout remains incredibly grounded. His official time in the 100 meters is 10.17 seconds, but we all know that's just the beginning for him. His sights are set on Tokyo, where he'll face fierce competitors like Lyles and Tebogo. So, who exactly is Gout? Born in Queensland to parents from South Sudan, Gout was the youngest of 7 siblings. It wasn't until he was 13 that his extraordinary talent was spotted by his school coach, Di Shepherd, who immediately saw the potential in this young sprinter. Gout's athletic ability, combined with his height, long strides, and incredible work ethic, has led to comparisons with the great Usain Bolt. At the age of 16, Gout became the fastest 200-meter runner in Australian history, breaking records that had stood for decades. Even more impressive, he did it while balancing schoolwork, remaining committed to his family, and never letting the fame or pressure affect him. Let's take a deeper look at the records Gout has already shattered. He holds the Australian under-16 records for both the 100 meters in 10.57 seconds and 200 meters in 20.87 seconds. At just 15, he claimed the Oceania U18 title in the 200 meters. And by 16, he had become one of the fastest teens in the world, breaking Peter Norman's long-standing national 200-meter record. But Gout isn't just about setting records. In 2024, he clinched the 100-meter title at the Australian U20 Championships, running a time of 10.48 seconds. That same year, he claimed silver in the 200 meters at the World U20 Championships in Lima. This isn't just fast, it's history in the making. His 200-meter time of 20.02 seconds at the Golden Spike meet was a new personal best, adding fuel to the fire of the immense expectations surrounding him. The comparisons to Usain Bolt are hard to ignore. I mean, we're talking about the 8-time Olympic gold medalist, the man whose name is synonymous with speed. Gout has been compared to Bolt since his very first breakthrough moments on the track. And it's no surprise when you watch Gout race, his stride, his posture, and the sheer speed he carries with each step are reminiscent of Bolt's prime. But Gout isn't focused on being the next Usain Bolt, he's focused on being the first Gout. As Gout himself says, Being compared to Usain Bolt feels great, but I'm just trying to be me. I'm making my own name. It's this mindset that sets him apart from just being another Bolt-like runner. He's carving out his own legacy. But here's the thing, being a 17-year-old sprinting sensation isn't just about running fast. For Gout, it's also about dealing with the realities that come with fame and expectations. And it's not just the pressure of international competition. Gout has spoken openly about his experience with racism. Despite his success and the admiration he receives from fans worldwide, he's also faced harsh criticism and judgment from some people in Australia. He's shared that sometimes people look at him differently because of his heritage. Gout, who was born in Australia to South Sudanese parents, said, "Sometimes people look at you differently. It's not always easy. It's a harsh reality that many fans may not understand, but it's something Gout deals with every day." On the business side of things, Gout's meteoric rise in the sport has attracted huge sponsors. He recently signed a groundbreaking multi-million-dollar deal with Adidas, earning him over $6 million. The contract, which extends through the 2032 Brisbane Olympics, places him among the top athletes in terms of sponsorship deals. But even with the millions rolling in, Gout isn't living the extravagant lifestyle that you might expect. He still drives a simple car. Why? He doesn't want people to treat him differently. "I drive a simple car because I don't want people to look at me like I'm something special," Gout explained. "I want to stay grounded, to stay true to who I am." It's this humility that continues to make Gout not just an amazing athlete, but a role model for young athletes everywhere. Looking ahead, Gout has big plans. He's set to compete at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo this September, where he'll face off against the world's best. After that, he's eyeing the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles, where he'll be 20 years old, prime age for a sprinter to hit their peak. And then there's the 2032 Brisbane Olympics, where the pressure will be even greater. Gout is expected to be one of Australia's poster boys, with hopes of double gold in the 100 meters and 200 meters. But it's not just about the medals, it's about the legacy he's creating. He's already become a beacon of hope for aspiring athletes, and his story is only just beginning. Even with all his success, Gout continues to face challenges off the track, especially in the form of racism. He's had to deal with people questioning his identity and whether he's really Australian despite being born and raised in Queensland. The racism he faces on social media and in public life is a stark reminder that even our greatest athletes don't escape the ugly realities of society. But Gout, supported by his family and fans, continues to rise above it. His focus remains on his goals, and he's determined to prove himself on the global stage. So, what's next for Gout? Well, it's clear that this 17-year-old is just getting started. With a World Championship debut looming and the 2028 and 2032 Olympics on his radar, Gout's journey will be one to watch for years to come. But remember, while his sprinting ability may seem superhuman, it's his resilience, humility, and strength in the face of adversity that make Gout the true champion he is. His story is about more than just running fast. It's about staying grounded, overcoming obstacles, and paving the way for future athletes to follow. Noah Lyles just did the unthinkable, beating the Olympic champ in the final seconds and making track history in the process. But what happened at the finish line left everyone in shock. Noah, an American sprint star who already held multiple world titles and had a personal best of 19.31 seconds in the 200 meters, had a unique target. He was going for a 6th straight Diamond League final win in the 200, a feat no other track athlete had ever pulled off. His rival across the field was none other than Olympic champion Tebogo, the young legend from Botswana who had stunned the world by beating Noah in the Olympic 200 final. Tonight's race wasn't just another contest. It was poised to be a showdown where past pain met burning ambition. This was more than a sprint. This was a mental battle. Everyone watching knew the storylines. They knew Lyles had been dominant in the Diamond League, but had fallen short when it mattered most at the Olympics. And Tebogo. He was the new face of speed. Calm under pressure, with a stride so relaxed it looked effortless even at top speed. It was a clash of eras, of mentalities, of two runners with everything to prove. When the gun went off, Tebogo leapt ahead. His smooth, powerful stride carried him just ahead as they rounded the bend. It looked eerily similar to the Olympic replay. Tebogo out front, calm, collected. But Noah wasn't about to repeat the mistakes of the past. He wasn't panicking. He remembered every stride, every fall, every moment that led him here. The crowd got even louder as the runners reached the last part of the race. Then, like a flash, Noah started running even faster. With his body leaning forward and every part of him pushing hard, he focused completely on the finish line. Right at the last second, he passed Tebogo and won the race just barely by only 0.02 seconds, finishing in 19.74 seconds. 19.74, practically flying. And with that, Noah clinched his 6th consecutive Diamond League final victory in the 200. No athlete before had ever made it 6. Suddenly, the record book felt different because he was in it alone. But what made this race even more remarkable was what you couldn't see on the stopwatch. It wasn't just about the time, it was about timing. Noah timed that final push with the precision of a sniper. He didn't lead the whole way. He stalked his opponent, waited, and attacked at the exact moment when the world thought Tebogo had it sealed. His words after the race captured it perfectly. 6 in a row, the most in track. It is pretty nice to have that. I saw Lyles lean on the finish line, but I knew I won. I knew if I panicked, I was not going to win. If you are tight, you are done for. Those sentences weren't rehearsed. They were raw, honest, the kind of insight only someone who's sprinted that close to defeat and snatched victory might have. Tebogo's reaction was mature too. He said watching Lyles win, he realized how much Noah had grown in humility since the Olympic loss. You have to let the legs do the talk, he said. The more you talk and you cannot prove it means you only talk. You do not prove yourself. But for me, I do not talk. I just let the legs do its thing. That level of respect, that competitive poise, it's what makes this rivalry feel like more than just a contest. It's a chapter in sprinting history being written out loud. The stakes were high, not just for bragging rights. With the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo on the horizon, this was huge. For Noah, after a couple of 100-meter losses earlier that season, winning here was exactly the confidence boost he needed. It wasn't just another medal to hang on the wall, it was a statement, loud and clear, to every sprinter lining up in Tokyo, he's still the man to beat. And the atmosphere? It was absolutely electric. The Diamond League final, the premier stage in track and field, had drawn the world's biggest stars to Zurich's Letzigrund from August 27th to 28th. This wasn't your average end-of-season event. It felt more like a global summit of the sport's best. Athletes knew this was the last real test before Tokyo, and everyone showed up hungry. Lyles' win was just one of the headlines. Julian Alfred made a comeback splash, clocking 10.76 seconds to win the women's 100 and silence any doubts about her recovery. Javelin became a stage for pure drama. Julian Weber unleashed a world-leading 91.51 meters, pushing Olympic champ Neeraj Chopra into second. Christian Coleman ripped through the men's 100 in 9.97 seconds. Karsten Warholm and Femke Bol broke meet records in their hurdle events. Records were falling like dominoes. Even outside the sprints, the action was wild. A Dutch national record tumbled in the women's 1500. Britain's stars hit personal bests in the 800. This was the kind of night where even finishing second felt like a badge of honor. Champions weren't just winning, they were sharpening their swords before war. But Lyles, his moment stood above it all, because in that single burst of power and precision, he didn't just win a race. He erased doubt. He erased disappointment. He stood taller than ever before, not just as a runner but as a competitor who came back from defeat and proved he could still dominate when it mattered. Let's not forget, he now holds 6 Diamond League final titles across both 100 and 200 meters. That includes 5 in the 200, most recently in Zurich, and 1 in the 100. It's not just longevity, it's consistent under pressure. In a sport where one misstep can ruin your entire season, Lyles has delivered again and again. His journey wasn't always smooth. Injuries, pressure, public criticism, and that Olympic loss could have crushed him, but they didn't. He responded not by sulking, but by grinding, training harder, focusing sharper. It takes something special to keep coming back stronger season after season. There's something about the way Noah Lyles runs when he's doubted. It's almost like doubt adds fuel. You can see it in the way he leans into the final 30 meters, in the way he grits his teeth when it's close. When the world expects him to fold, he finds another gear. That's not just athleticism, that's willpower. That's a belief built on battle scars. Now, with Tokyo looming in September, this matters. A win like this changes the energy. A race like this makes fans, coaches, and rivals look again. Lyles heads to Japan not as a fading star, but as a man reborn, hungry, and more dangerous than ever. Tebogo, he's not going anywhere either. Their rivalry is just heating up, and their next race might just be the most watched sprint of the decade. So let's hold that image. 2 champions, 2 styles, 2 countries, 1 finish line. That's the kind of drama track and field lives for, and the beauty is, we know they'll meet again. We know this isn't over. This is more than a gold medal, it's redemption, dominance, and the kind of sprinting legacy that fans will talk about for generations. Lyles didn't just cross the finish line first, he crossed into history.